back out on the field. You know, we're just super happy with the attitude today and the mentality, and we thought we need to go on.
Texas been in the playoffs previously, 2022, hoping to get back there. Awaiting the final whistle. From distance. Seven unbeaten in a row. They're headed to a penalty shootout. And the comeback complete for North Texas.
And we're live. Welcome everyone to Afterburn Soccer Show, afterburn.soccer over on Substack. You can follow us there and subscribe and throw us a couple of bucks if you want. We appreciate all the support. I'm Nathan Hill, your host at Nathan J. Hill on Twitter. And with me is our good buddy, Jose Carmona. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And we're here to talk. North Texas Soccer Club. We'll get to FC Dallas, but I wanted to start the show off with the positivity of North Texas locking up, of course, the number one seed in all of MLS Next Pro, but doing even further with their final home game of their regular season against Minnesota United FC2, of trouncing the visitors, of dominating the visitors, a true beatdown, an 8-2 victory. I think there were 7 different goal scorers in this one.
I believe that's correct.
I think there were 6, and then Indele scored again, got a brace on the day, and then Garcia came in and scored. So yeah, just an incredible performance to set them up as they prepare to go into the postseason and represent the Dallas-Fort Worth area, represent North Texas. Just an amazing, talented team. I wanted us to start there before we get into FC Dallas stuff, because folks should go watch this team and support these young players who are just dynamic and in form right now. What were your thoughts about that result, and what does it mean for this team going into the postseason, Jose?
I mean, it sends a message to the rest of the league. I mean, anyone who's going to play North Texas is going to have to travel to North Texas, and they go out there and just basically send a message to the rest of the league to say, hey, not only are we the top team and you got to come to our home, but we're also red hot right now. We're peaking at the end of the season, and I think everyone right now is taking notice that this team is just basically firing on all cylinders.
They really are. I mean, I don't think any of us expected this. I mean, I know when I interviewed Michelle the previous week after the draw in Kansas City, which secured them the number one seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, we expected a strong. He rotated a lot of guys, put some younger guys in play against Kansas City, and they were still able to get a result and a shootout victory. So for them to come home, I know they wanted to give guys a break and then bring in that sort of first team and run them out. But an 8-2. I mean, I think at one point the announcer said something. They had 5 shots on goal and 4 goals. Right? It was just that kind of day for this team. They were just carving Minnesota United wide open, and everything was finding its way in. I mean, it was such. So we expected a strong performance, but this was something else. It was just so much fun to watch. In particular, I just have to keep saying I'm just really intrigued by Pedrinho, who has been an amazing attacking player, has been so strong this season. And after another goal that was just full of skill, surely he's done enough to get a good, strong look for the first team next season.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if that means he spends some time with North Texas still. But he seems like another talent that should get a shot to take the next step. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think several of the kids on this team are at least uh, worthy of getting a look. I'm not saying that they'll make the jump, but because of the way the team is playing and everything, I think some of these guys should be asked to come up and train with the senior squad, and I wouldn't be surprised if two or three of them get a close look next year for the senior team. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them actually that don't get a look with senior team get loaned out to USL Championship. So, because that's I
Right.
think that's basically with this team signing so many young players, you don't want to build a bottleneck there. So you need to get this talented players. Uh, Honestly, if they stay on this tear and become champions, there's nothing left for some of these older players to prove at this level. So even if the team doesn't believe that they're quite ready for FC Dallas, then you'll see some of these players get a look at in the USL Championship. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be fun to watch and fun to see kind of which of these guys get that look. And of course, we know some of these guys are already. I mean, Tariq Scott, Nolan Norris, and Corka. Have maybe they've had a good strong season and will get that time, get that opportunity to show what they can do in camp. But it's such a great year and a year even in the midst of a coaching change. It's something for them to build upon. And yet, that's kind of what I asked Michelle after this victory. Was sort of like, hey, how do you keep the guys focused? So let's go ahead and hear him and his reactions to the match.
I mean, today was a hit day. Talk to the boys, so they need to be very focused today. Would be hard for us, but even worse for Minnesota. They're not used to this weather. The boys was focused, concentrate, and then credit for them. Also the mentality of the team. So we winning 1-0 on the first 2 minutes. You keep pushing, and then the goals starts to coming. So was very good to watch. I mean, still a lot to correct if you wanna be success on the playoffs. So we still have a long way.
They still have a long way to go, and I certainly asked him because I think that's the question. Um, Jose is like, hey, a great result, incredible game to close out the season, but you don't want your guys also going into the postseason a little too confident. You want them to stay hungry, have their feet on the ground. What would be your advice to Michelle to keep the team grounded with a few days break before the next match?
I'm not sure if you can keep him grounded. I mean, I would think these kids right now their confidence is got to be through the roof. Um, I want to point out how important home field advantage is for North Texas. They are the only undefeated team with when it comes to home records. Only team to go undefeated at home. 9 wins at home. That tops the league in home wins. No losses. That tops the league, and of course 5 draws. And the two second best home teams in the league are in the Western Conference and have to travel to North Texas. So yeah, I think right now he needs to basically just let them play there. I mean, right now these kids are flying, and he has a lot to do with that. And I'm sure that he'll find a way to keep them flying because right now, like I said, everything is coming up aces for this team right now. Everything. Uh, I'm pretty excited to see how this team will react in the postseasons. But if this last match was any indication, um, I I think we're in for a fun show. Excuse me, a fun showing in the playoffs.
So, I was going to see if I could find the press release. The interesting scenarios now that come out of this is the way MLS Next Pro set up the playoff structure this year. I'm trying to see if they have had it up here. Yeah, tomorrow there'll be an event online at 2 p.m. Or Western Conference one will be 3 p.m. Eastern,
Yep.
where North Texas is going to get to choose their first opponent, which is a
Yep.
bit unusual, right? uh, something definitely different, a different wrinkle that I think adds a little extra complexity to North
Yeah, they get to,
Texas's.
they get to make their call their shot and say, okay, this is the team that we want to play. And basically, it starts with them, then it goes to St. Louis, and so on and so forth. So North Texas could, if they wished, they could call out St. Louis, unless I got this wrong, and it's the top four can only, and they have to call someone. I may be wrong on that. I think they have to call one of the bottom four seeds. I don't think they can call out St. Louis. But if they could, that would be gutsy. It's like, hey, who's our biggest threat? Let's play them at home right away. But I think it's going to be. I believe they get to choose one of the bottom four seeds. They get first shot. And looking at all the teams that
Right.
are in for the bottom four, you got LAFC, you got Ventura County, you got the Whitecaps, and you got the Houston Dynamo too. I mean, it's got to be Houston. I mean, you want the pleasure of knocking out your in-state rivals out in the playoffs. So I think that's what if and even if you could call out any of the teams ranked below you, I still think Houston would be the right opponent for them to call out because Houston is a tough opponent. They'd be a great. They're a team that are not going to allow North Texas to coast to the next round. They'll be a team that's going to play them tough through and through. But North Texas should have enough to beat those guys. And yeah, I think that's the way I would like to see them do is call out the Dynamo two.
It makes the most sense. Although it's an in-state rivalry, and perhaps um, Houston but we know they're going to bring it. We know they're going to play. They've always been a tough team for North Texas, and they're going to bring it. And I think any of these scenarios, that's what's interesting about this thing is I don't know that it really helps a team because if you pick a higher seeded team, maybe that team feels like, oh, they think we're worse than we are or something. There's all kinds of ways that this mentally could play into this situation. So
Yep.
I would like it if they got the Dynamo up. I don't mind that at all. They're the lowest ranked team, and yeah, it would be a good thing, and it will get everyone up emotionally for the match.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's so tough to have to make your own picks because you could pick wrong. But honestly, the way this team's playing right now, and the fact they'll be playing at home, I think it's nice that you get to call your pick. And honestly, would Houston really be insulted if they're the eighth seed and traditionally the eighth seed plays the number one seed? So I don't think they would be. I think Houston wouldn't be insulted. They'd be like, all right, we match up against these guys, and I think because of the rivalry, I don't think Houston would see it as an insult.
Right. No, I agree.
I think some of the other three teams would take it as an insult that they would be picked above the number eight seed. So any other three teams, I think yes, they would be insulted. I don't think Houston would be.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch to see what happens. I'll of course try to be online to see who North Texas picks tomorrow. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so 2 p.m. Central time, and noon out here on the West Coast. Well, let's shift over then to FC Dallas, and it was since we last spoke, it's been a busy 7 days. There was a midweek game at San Jose where Dallas still had a very slim, but nonetheless a chance. The window, you could say, was cracked open just a bit, but they had to get business done in San Jose. And unfortunately, they did not get business done against the lowly Earthquakes. And what has to be one of the disappointing results for fans of this team this year. I mean, there's been a few of those, but there was a late push that gave FC Dallas a second goal, but they just were carved open and were taken apart by counterattack too often from San Jose. Frankly, San Jose looked like a great team compared to what FC Dallas.
Honestly, the loss of San Jose is this at all. If you can't win at San Jose, frankly, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And sadly, that's where this team is. It's got a lot of nice pieces, but not enough pieces to make a whole. They still got the same holes they've had all for the last 2 seasons. And it would be nice if this team would go out and be serious and bring in a solid center back to pair alongside either Tafari or whoever. The fact that we're asking our left backs to play center back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bad team would do that, and frankly, this team's been getting away with it for so long that it, I mean, I kind of wish that they would have given those minutes to someone from North Texas. In all honesty, because if we don't have if they're not going to go out and sign a center back, then damn it, they need to develop that center back in house. And nothing against Farfan, nothing against Hunqua, great players, but they're not true center backs, and they're even when they play their best, you're still talking about they're smallish and are targets for the much taller attackers in the league. So nothing against them. It's great that they can play there, but as starters, as regular every match starters, that's not good. Hasn't been good, and this team has been punished for it.
The other bit of drama in the game on Wednesday night was when Musa was substituted off for Logan Farrington. Musa walked right by the coaching staff and went straight to the locker room. I asked Luxon about it, and he didn't share a lot, but he just said, hey, he understood these guys are competitors. They want to win. They don't want to be subbed off in a match like that. That's a must-win situation. But then it was interesting that Musa really did not start on Sunday night as the team went up and drew on the road, Portland Timbers. And interesting, and I don't know what to make of that, except, and as I recall, I don't think Musa made it into the game. Is that correct?
I believe so. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's carrying a knock, because don't forget, before the San Jose game, he got taken out of the game, and you have to wonder if he's 100%, and I don't think he is, and it's probably nothing more than that. I mean, even a player who's less than 100% is not gonna want to be taken off the pitch, so I can understand that. But frankly, I'm okay with any of the big DPs not playing full 90 minutes. In all honesty, Velasco, Ferreira have them play 60 minutes and then sub them off. Right now the season's over. There's no sense in chancing one of those guys getting a really bad injury. Um, so yeah, just give it minutes, and let's give some of the younger guys a look. Because let's face it, this next match might as well be a extended preseason match.
Mm-hmm. Which felt like what Luxon did against Portland. He did rotate. He had some choices that were questionable to some fans, and yet the team found a pretty solid result on the road. An away point is never a bad thing in this league, and in fact, give us a few away points, and the postseasons might still be in sight earlier
Yeah,
earlier in the year. Well, let's
four
go ahead
man
and jump
backfield
over.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, let's hear Luxon just after this match what he told media about kind of what he wants to see from FC Dallas players.
for me, it's not easy. We all know that it's not easy to come in that field and to play like this. We have so many chances, so many even 1v1 situation. Of course, they have chances as well, but in the end, it was sacrifice. It was a fight. We see so many good sequences with the ball. Of course, that we need to keep improving. But tonight we saw a team that's fighting. We saw a team with a great attitude. I know maybe so many people, even some maybe fans, are not going to be happy with what I'm saying, but we are coming from. We know we took over that team like a 2 months or 3 months, ago, and I can see the progress. I can see the progress. I'm just talking just about football, but I'm talking about mentality. That to make sure that team, everybody in that club, need to understand what it takes to compete in the highest level. So tonight, it was some of the day. I'm very demanding with the players. They know that. Everybody know that. But today, I need that the sacrifice, brotherhood maybe between the players. Everybody play in the high level in terms of commitment. Is the thing that is not negotiable with us. Is a sacrifice of commitment. Players who want to play for FC Dallas, this is what they have to do. And today everybody should.
He wants that sacrifice. He wants that mentality. Nice to hear those words from Luke Son, and for him to say he's seen progress, even if they haven't necessarily been all on the field. But I also wondered if that wasn't a message that to Musa. Maybe Musa is carrying a knock, as you say, but maybe some of the guys who didn't start, maybe a Tafari, maybe some of these guys that Luke Son is trying to give them a message to say, this is my standard, what I want to see from the players. And if you want to be here, if you want to play, I need to see that kind of sacrifice, that kind of fight and determination from the side. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a message that this team needs to hear?
I want to say yes, but can an interim manager deliver that message and be taken seriously? I mean, let's face it. He's what he's saying is he's saying it as if he's going to be the manager next season, but that's not. There's no guarantee of that right now, and I think for an interim to be making that kind of demands from the players, I'm not so sure if they can, if it carries the weight. You know, I mean, let's face it. Some of these players may be looking at him and saying, "Hey, you know, this guy, he may not be here next year.
Right.
Next season." So I would hope that they've said, "Hey, that management's made it clear that even if Lusan doesn't get the job, he's still going to be part of FC Dallas, and then his words will carry some weight because then he'll have some influence on whoever gets the job if it's not him." So it depends how it's been communicated to the players. But like I said, not sure an interim manager can be making those kind of demands.
Yeah, it's a tricky scenario. That's why I just don't know. I don't know, but I felt there's a tinge of that. I think that we've seen him enough, and we've seen Tafari in particular as a player who has oodles of talent and has
Yes.
looked the part of being an MLS center back, but he's been benched by multiple coaches now, who haven't been maybe happy with his approach or something, or wanted something else. And that's not maybe a knock. Maybe those are just tactical situations, but yeah. But Musa, being one of the best players on the team, I don't know. He's going to be around
So
next season,
so
barring
Tafari
something strange happening.
Tafari has been our best center back by default. Not because he is a great center back or anything like that. And you have to wonder if the fact that he hasn't been paired with a player of the same level or better than him has made him sour or has distracted him. I'm just saying having somebody, uh, a veteran center back there, a proven starter to command the back line. This team has lacked that, and Tafari could use someone like that next to him. So I don't blame it on him. I just think it's that missing piece that the team has simply failed to uh, replace, that has really haunted this team and will continue to haunt them until they take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I hear too in Luke Sone's comments a little bit of a message to the front office too of making his case. He knows now they
Yes.
didn't make the playoffs, but here's an away draw, which is something the team couldn't get done earlier in the season at all. Played really poorly on the road, and they played pretty well against Portland. Not perfect, certainly room for improvement, but they pushed Portland back. They found ways. I mean, Jimmy Moore, give him another credit for a really great performance from the backup keeper. But so he goes into his final home game here. He wants to see that mentality. He may have a chance now to put out whatever his preferred kind of lineup, tactical approach may be. Although I don't think he's going to install a new tactical system in a week, but it's a chance for him to make this case. What do you think you would like to see from Luke Stone in this final home game, final game of the regular season that might communicate to fans that he could be that leader that the team needs going forward?
I mean, I'm not sure there's much he can do. I mean, in all honesty, he may have already blown the shot to be the manager. You had a set of games, you needed a set of results, and by all you know, in all practicality, they basically fell flat on their face. I'm sorry, but you go out, you need a win uh, at home against LAFC, and you get beat. I mean, after you beat LAFC, you got to beat
Orlando.
Orlando, and you get handily beat by Orlando, and then you have a prayer, maybe a prayer left, and you got to go win against the worst team in the league, and then you lose to them too, and just those two games, I think, may have closed the door on him being manager, unless they already made that decision, unless they had already made the decision to make him manager and have made it official. Um, Frankly, I think they're doing him a disservice if they already know that. If they already know that he's going to be the manager, just announce it. Don't wait till the end of the season. Don't make it look like you're searching for this guy or that guy. We all know it's going to be someone with FC Dallas connections. And I'm not sure what he can do. I think he just has to put out the try to get a result, try to finish on a high note, and then hopefully the managerial announcement will come from the ownership soon. But
Yeah,
frankly, like I said, I think the fact that the team folded down the stretch when he still had a shot to make the playoffs, I think that's a huge miss for him. And before that, I would have said he has a good shot. Now I'm like 50-50 on it. You know, I'd like to see him get the shot simply because I think it's going to be him or Quill.
well, let's touch upon that in a minute. But I do. I I think there's some sense of him not immediately getting announced, as you suggest, because I do think he was asked to step in as an interim and to try to right this season. With a lot of things going against FC Dallas, a lot of injuries, a lot, a really poor position, and he did get improvement out of the team. I think any FC Dallas fan will say that. That yeah, the team to even at least have a shot to be in the mix for the postseason about where they were uh, when Nico was let go. It says something about him, about guys getting healthy as well, and taking advantage of getting some results to kind of improve the position of the team. So some positives. I think we can say there's some positives, but I do think too, probably in that time frame when they asked Peter to step in, they didn't have the time to sit down and say, what would your tactical vision be? If you were stuck around and you were in charge, what kind of players do you want here? Who on this roster do you think you can build around, and who do you think is not good enough to play the way you want to play? What is that vision? What is that mentality? So I think there's some room for that conversation to happen, and for front office staff to look at these results and to say, was he just dealt the bad hand and he made a pretty decent effort at it out of a tough situation, and does he have a vision that really we need to carry forward, or did we see, he has some, he can be a manager somewhere, but maybe it's just not here. Maybe this isn't the time, and we need to go out and look at Eric Quill. We need to go and Robin Fraser and some other guys, So I think that's the conversation that's probably still going to happen. And I don't fault FC Dallas if they want to sit down and just finally let things settle and then say, Peter, what would be your vision for 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for the season to be over now. I'm frankly, I half-heartedly watched the last match. It's I think coming to the realization of the fact that we're out of the playoffs. It's a lot, And I honestly, like I said, I hope Lucien gets it. I think I would like to see him get a full shot, especially with all the mess surrounding the stadium next season. That's going to be something, and I'm not sure you can bring in a very good manager to that kind of mess. And say, hey, you're going to be managing in front of 11,000 people, and it's going to look chaotic. And we may not spend a lot of money on players unless we sell somebody. I'm not sure who you bring in with that. So I say, you know what? I'm okay with Lucien getting a shot. Like I said, he knows the system. He knows uh, the talent available at the academy level, stuff like that. And I think that's what this team needs. It needs. I like the fact that there's been a lot of healing done to the ladder, uh, and I think Lucien has a lot to do with that. And I like to see him carry on.
Hmm.
I like to see him get a full season. You know, uh, if they're gonna announce him as a manager, I'd like to see him get like a year with like options.
Yeah. Well, if you already mentioned Eric Quill, I guess that'll be the next thing we'll be doing is looking at some other candidates as this process unfolds. I mean, I know someone said Robin Fraser, who's a guy that's well regarded. Was last with Colorado, didn't necessarily maybe get the best out of that team, and so I don't know how serious he would be a candidate or how he would fit with FC Dallas. Um, Lucci's available, but I don't think that's a possibility. Josh Wolf is available, but not so sure that's the direction that Dallas will want to go either. And you may end up with a championship coach in Michelle with the next pro team, even though he's still an interim. That you could take a look there. But the other candidate I think of, just if you interview Peter, maybe you're not settled on it, is you look at John Gall, who was having a lot of success with North Texas and certainly has other coaching experience in his past. I know he would jump at that opportunity, but would he be a candidate? Does he become a candidate if they decide that he has a vision? Yeah, I don't see with the scenario as you suggest with the stadium changes, they're not going to go probably outside of that smaller pool of candidates.
No, it's going to be like I said. It's going to be somebody that has knowledge of FC Dallas and the academy and whatnot. And frankly, I prefer it that way. Seeing all the damage done to the pathway um, under Nico, and it just hasn't sat well with me. And, and mind you, I was a guy that's like, oh yeah, they need to bring someone from outside, not at the expense of blocking the pathway. You know. So if they're going to bring somebody from outside, it has to be somebody that's going to say, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to commit to the pathway. So, like I said, unless it's somebody like that is known for playing the kids, um, yeah, I'm okay with Gall, Quill, or Lusan, either one of them. I wouldn't mind them looking at, maybe if they want to go outside, maybe assistant of one of someone like Oscar, who knows the system, someone like that. Outside of that, I think we know who our finalists are going to be, and I think Luzon's got as good a shot as anybody else.
Okay. We'll look for some more speculation about that as you're listening to the podcast. Well, I'm sure we'll have time to cover that this coming up off season. But for now, one more game. FC Dallas at home welcomes Sporting Kansas City, who have also been eliminated. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there'll be young guys definitely making their case, getting minutes, and trying to make their case to be around next year for both teams. So that'll be interesting to watch. And of course, North Texas will play again. I believe it's on the 20th. October 20th will be the next conference quarterfinals, sometime around the 18th. Yeah, October 18th to 20th, and then semifinals about 5-7 days after that. So plenty of soccer to look forward to for North Texas. Home games too. Go out, fans, and watch and enjoy. And of course, we appreciate all your likes, your subscribes, your comments here as we get ready to draw to a close another Afterburn soccer season in a few weeks. All right, Jose, thank you.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, we'll see y'all soon next Monday. Of course, check afterburn.soccer for other news and an interview with Michael Collodi.